Greetings, programs. B. Chambers from Alloy7.com with another video review, and this time around I'm doing Torchlight for the Xbox 360. This one's going to get a bit long-winded, so let me give you the bottom line. Too long didn't watch up front. If you enjoy the basic elements of RPGs, specifically I'm talking about combat, leveling, customization, and a genuine sense of character progression, and if you somehow decided to pass on Torchlight back when it came out, then you need to square that away immediately. Seriously, go play it. All right, so for those of you that decided to stick around for the rest of the show, let me start by saying I really can't say enough good things about what Runic Games did with Torchlight. These cats really know how to capture what makes RPGs fun and engaging, all while balancing accessibility with a very present sense of depth. This is probably the most well-rounded Xbox Live Arcade game I've ever played. Best of all, Runic understands what it means to make a game as long as it is fun. I've critiqued so many developers over the years for giving us more game than they gave us fun. Runic knew that the Torchlight model would become routine over time, so they decided not to make the game wear out its welcome. And for this, I give them mad props. But for those of you that don't mind repetition and do want to have a more long play, understand that there is gameplay that takes place after you've beaten the main storyline. Since this is a console game, Runic was charged with boiling down the more complicated gaming interface of its PC brothers. For me, this was a welcome simplification because Torchlight on 360 still gave me enough control over my character in combat and in customization to feel rewarded. Plus, for folks that didn't grow up playing PC games that may find some of their interfaces to be a bit daunting, Torchlight on 360 is very easy to pick up and play. From intuitive menus to ability mapping for combat, TL is squared away. And top all of this off with the fact that Runic Games gave us game mechanics specifically designed to cut down on tedium. The greatest example of this is your pet that aids you throughout the game. Not only can you customize and grow your pet into a crazy workhorse fighting machine, but you can also use him to return to town to sell items when your inventory gets full so that you can stay in the dungeon and keep fighting. All right, so let me go ahead and hop off the soapbox and give you guys the category breakdowns. The following are the categories of gamers who I believe will enjoy Torchlight the most. First and foremost, this game is all about builders. While you only get 3 very basic classes with limited visual customization at the game's onset, rest assured that the true joy of customizing comes with playing the game, leveling, and then choosing what your character will ultimately become. Even though you do choose between a warrior, a gunslinger, and a mage, you can take comfort in the fact that none of these character classes marry you to a specific path. If you want your warrior to use ranged attacks or magic, simply equip him with the right weapons and have him learn the spells that are available to him. You'll also get a fairly large amount of skills, weapons, and armor sets for each character. Everything you wear shows up on character in-game, adding a level of customization that even AAA titles don't provide consistently. Not only that, there's also no ridiculously low level cap to stop you from customizing your avatar with skills to your liking. If you're willing to put in the time, you will be rewarded with a good amount of skills that you can make stronger over time. All right, so next up we have strategists, and strategists will enjoy the sense of variety that Torchlight gives. Take a look at this boss battle against the Overseer. I've cast haste on my character, I've set my pet to attack aggressively, and I've summoned zombies to help me out. As a gunslinger, this allows me to pick off the minions while my pet and the zombies chomp away at the boss. This keeps him busy for part of the fight, but also continues to lower his HP as I clean up the battlefield. The beauty with Torchlight is that, while simple in its approach, it does afford you the ability to control the battlefield to your liking. You can handle this fight in many different ways. Okay, so with that said, let's now move on to the players who may be disappointed with Torchlight, and we'll start with collaborators. One of the things that made my experience with games like Sacred 2 so enjoyable was the ability to play with friends. Torchlight ain't having that. You'll be rocking this joint Han Solo. Okay, so it should be obvious that the story is not the focus of Torchlight. What you've got here is a dungeon crawling, loot grinding affair, so bookworms are going to feel slightly let down here. But one saving grace for the bookworm type player is that while the story is not overly deep or even all that well developed, it's at least well presented in an enjoyable and oftentimes in a humorous fashion. All right, so with Torchlight, I felt that there were three categories that didn't really favor the positive or the negative very heavily. They kind of sat right in the middle. And the first is explorers. And the explorer type player should probably enjoy Torchlight a pretty good deal. For starters, this is a loot mongering game, much like its forefather Diablo 2. You'll find more money, armor, and weapons than you'll really ever be able to use. And also, Torchlight does give you a decent amount of freedom to handle side quests in the manner of your choosing. However, on the slightly negative side, just know that there's not much by way of actual exploration. Torchlight is a dungeon crawl, as I mentioned before, with a central hub town for buying and selling equipment and turning in completed quests. And lastly, you've got the visualists and the audiophiles category. And to set that off, I did dig Torchlight's graphical style, the use of color, the music, and the sound effects. But I can't say that any of those elements did anything significantly memorable. All right, good people, so let's wrap up shop here. I want to stress again that I think Runic Games really turned out some straight quality when they put out Torchlight. And if you didn't get the chance to play it and you dig RPGs, I really think you should probably give it a shot. And don't let the dungeon crawling aspect completely turn you away if dungeon crawlers aren't your thing. I can tell you straight up that I don't typically dig dungeon crawlers, but that I felt Torchlight's accessibility, style, and relatively short completion time didn't let the grinding and the crawling become too monotonous. What it did allow was the fun parts of the game, the character customization and development to truly shine and get to the forefront. All right, good people, so that's a wrap on what I hope was another enjoyable video review for you guys. I got three things for you before I shut it down. One, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, get that done. Two, go ahead and like this video if you did like it. And three, if you've played Torchlight already, leave us some commentary down in the comments section on your opinion of the game so that the viewers of this video can get an even more comprehensive look. Thanks for playing, guys. I'll see you on the next one.